Hey guys, Way here. Sorry, but excuse the background drilling and stuff because my neighbor is building their house. Today we're talking about iPads, as you can see behind me. This is the iPad Pro 2018, even though I bought it in 2019. But yeah, it's the iPad Pro 2018 one. So it's the one with the single lens, not the 2020 with that special LiDAR scanner and ultra wide. But the iPad Air was launched back in September alongside the Apple Watches, and now it's available in store in Apple on the shelves. Wow. Both the iPad Air and the 2018 iPad Pro behind me here is very similar. They're a lot more similar compared to the 2020 iPad Pro, which means should you really get the iPad Air? I'm just going to say iPad Air because I can't be bothered to say 4. But the 2020 iPad Air over the 2020 iPad Pro, well, I mean, if you're looking at the iPad Air, you're probably not going to want to spend, $1,300 plus on the iPad Pro 2020. We're talking about Australian dollars, when you can probably buy the iPad Pro 2018 one for a lot lesser, probably even lesser. You can probably find one on the used market even lesser than a brand new iPad Air 4. And well, I mean, this was designed for pros, so it has a lot of similarities with both the 2020 iPad Pro and the 2020 iPad Air. I mean, same design, same cameras as the iPad Air, and a similar specs. I mean, we've got this is the A12X compared to the A14 on the iPad Air, and they both have 6 gigs of RAM and 6-core GPU, I believe, compared to the iPad Pro 2020 with the 8 gigs of RAM and 8-core GPU. So they are fairly similar. I mean, the A14 is definitely going to be a lot faster than the A12X, since it's like 2 years younger, I guess. 2 years younger, maybe, than the A12X, which came out back in iPhone 10 times. 2 years already, jeez. No, iPhone 10s, I don't know. The iPhone 10 era with the 2 lens. So the iPad Air sort of is, I mean, it was designed from the beginning of the new iPad Air, the first generation iPad Air. It was sort of already targeting towards iPad Pros, because it was right in the middle, in between the iPad, the normal iPad, and the iPad Pro, and the price range was also in that area. So if you didn't really want the iPad, you want something better than the iPad, more capable than the normal iPad, but you don't want to spend the money on the iPad Pro since you don't need all the Pro features, you've got the iPad Air bang in the middle. But now the iPad Air is sort of better in some areas than the iPad Pros. This might still be slightly better than the iPad Air 2020. I mean, they both use the same accessories, second gen Apple Pencil and the Magic Keyboard, as you can see behind me. It's the one with the trackpad. Both iPads, both the iPad Air and the iPad Pro 2018 is very capable. It handles, well, in my use as a student, last year student, woohoo, handles Word document, Microsoft 365 perfectly. I know this video edits like perfect in LumaFusion. I really can't find anything on YouTube at the moment since I don't have the iPad Air. I can't really find anything on the iPad Air for video editing, but since it is running a new chip and it's got fairly similar specs to this iPad Pro here, I'm assuming that it's going to be fairly good in terms of video editing. I know the iPad Air 3 was amazing at video editing. I mean, it was scrubbing through the timeline was perfect, not a single lag or anything. But I really like my iPad Pro. And I use the iPad Pro a lot because I mean it is a pro device, and it's nice. Having that iPad Pro feature is a lot nicer than the Air, but sometimes you don't use all of it. Like honestly, I don't use the rear camera that much, and I know the iPad Air uses the same camera as that, but I don't use the camera a lot. So not even night photography, not even day photography. There's a flash on this, and I rarely use it. And I know the iPad Air doesn't even have a flash. So do you really need an iPad Pro? Like, if you're using like day-to-day email, watching videos on YouTube, Netflix, whatever, go for the iPad. Like the normal iPad, the 8th gen iPad. Or if you really want something that looks like an iPad Pro, but it's an iPad Air, you can like walk around and flex, sort of like woohoo. Look at my fancy new colors, green, sky blue, whatever, new colors, woohoo. But you don't want to spend the money on the iPad Pro. The iPad Air is perfect. It does a lot of things similar to the iPad Pros, but it's cheaper. It's more fun colors, I guess, and I guess people like it. I mean, I didn't really like the iPad Airs because the iPad, if you really didn't need all this fancy stuff that the Pros offer, the iPad's perfect with the 10.2-inch screen. It's perfect. Now, if you really need like big features, you need a bigger screen, you need an iPad Pro, go for the iPad Pro. And then the iPad Air landed right in the middle, and now it's got a 10.9-inch display, not 120 hertz. I mean, I do play games on the house. You probably can see Among Us somewhere there. I'm actually using like the reflection to just see Among Us. Is like somewhere that side there. I guess it's there. I play Among Us, and I don't know if it really uses 120 hertz because I don't have. Oh, I think I do. I mean, so it jumps around. It's kind of smooth when I'm just running around venting and stuff, being an imposter, being this crewmate. It's smooth playing on the iPad Pro and scrolling through emails, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. It's smooth on here. It's definitely a lot smoother than my iPhone because the iPhone's running like 60 hertz compared to 120. So it is sort of smoother, I guess, in a certain way of saying, I guess. It's smoother than the iPad Air, since the iPad Air only has 60 hertz display. Yeah, if you're gaming a lot, using a lot of, if you need that smooth screen, go for the iPad Pro. But you don't really want to spend the 2020 iPad Pro's money, go for the 2018 iPad Pro. You can buy like one cheap, well, probably even cheaper than the iPad Air on the used market. Probably even find one with accessories like Apple Pencil, or maybe the Magic Keyboard, or the Folio keyboard. And the other thing I want to talk about is Touch ID. Yes, I know, I have worn a mask outside because why not? And everyone knows iPhones. Well, you see my phone, the 11 Pro Max. It's got Face ID, and mask and Face ID don't work very well. It just doesn't work. And it's no different on the iPad Pros since it's got Face ID. So Touch ID did make a comeback. It's like built in to the home button, and apparently Apple's like, it's revolutionary tech. It's not. Don't listen to them. It's rubbish because Android's Samsung, Huawei, I think. All these Android phones have been using it for like years. I mean, I do like Apple. I do like Face ID. I'm in the world of Face ID right now. And like even my Mac, it does have Touch ID. But I don't, since I've got an Apple Watch, I don't use it. I don't need Touch ID. You just open your Mac, Bluetooth to your Apple Watch, done. You're logged in. So I don't use Touch ID, but if you're out and about and you use your iPad Pro a lot, being outside in your mask, then yeah, Touch ID perfect. And I know you can at least register 2 fingers, and I'll probably, if I do get one, I'll probably register both my index fingers, since you've got to hold it, since the orientation, you hold it kind of weirdly. So yeah, should you get the iPad Air over the iPad Pros? Depends what you do. I mean, they're both similar in every way, shape and form. USB-C, speaker's not as good on the iPad Air as the iPad Pros, because that one's a dual stereo speaker, so it only has 2 speakers, even though there's like 4 speaker grills, there's only 2 speakers. A lot of people say they've got quad, but they don't actually have, they only got 2. Whereas the iPad Pros have 4 speakers shooting out of all 4 speaker grills, so music, playing out loud music, it's insane. It's loud. So yeah, if you really want to use it as a speaker, go for the iPad Pro. If you're using it for cameras, they both have the same camera system, so it doesn't really which one you're gonna go. And if you do use night photography, I don't know why you would do that, but if you want to use it, if you do use it, the iPad Pro is definitely better, because it's got a flash, quad LED flash, I think, maybe a dual LED. But yeah, it's got a flash. Maybe the mics sound better. Not a lot of people have talked about the mics on the iPad Air, but I do like the microphones on this iPad Pro, especially earlier in the year. We had the Zoom calls and stuff. It was nice on here, but that camera, especially in the world now with Zoom, that camera position hasn't changed, so it's still the same. It's even on the same as the iPad Air. It's still on the left side if you're using your iPad like that in the Magic Keyboard. The camera's on the left side, so you're sort of looking at your left side of your face. So now that I've sort of gone over all the features, if you really want Pro, but you don't want to spend like 2020 iPad Pro money, pick up a used 2018 iPad Pro. They're going for like a lot lesser than maybe even the iPad Air, brand new. So if you really want it, I say pick up the iPad Pros. But if you don't see yourself using the Pro or the Pro features in the iPad Pros, then by all means go for the iPad Air. If you just want to fun colors and stuff, yeah, go for the iPad Air. If you like this video, smash the like button, comment something, say hi, I guess, or ask me some questions about the iPad Pros or the iPad Air, or how I use my iPad Pro, or have any suggestions on new videos, comment below. Yeah, until then, smash the like button and click subscribe, see more of my face, my beautiful face. Yeah, or hear more about Apple stuff or Samsung or anything else, because why not? Yeah, until then, I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, be who you are, be awesome. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.